you guys got a drink, because this one is gonna be a little bit of a doozy, because we're talking about thrift stores. Hi guys, it's Lita. So I want to... That was my dog. So I wanted to do another video that's the truth about working at a blah 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 store. So I am going to do the truth about working at a thrift store. So I worked at a major thrift store, one of the major ones, and I'm not going to say which one, but I'm going to tell you a couple things about my experience working at the thrift store. So I took the job because I lost the previous job I had just because, I don't know, I just feel like she was done and I was done, and it wasn't working anymore, and it was time, you know what I mean? So I wanted like a easier job, because the job that I had previous to that, which I will do a video on, was at an art gallery and an art supply store, which doesn't sound very stressful, but it really freaking is. It is extremely stressful for a good amount of reasons, which I'm not going to get into in this video because it's going to be 20 minutes long if I start on that. So I wanted an easier job with like less responsibility, so I decided to apply to the thrift store. And honestly, the thrift store that I worked at, the way that they do the register is like the easiest thing ever. But they're also like really, and for good reasons, really strict on your till, so you can only be under or over a certain amount. I mean, obviously, like, it should be perfect like every time in a perfect world, but if anybody has ever been a cashier, you know that happens. Like, you can be off by like a cent or two, or even like $1 a couple of times during your like tenure at said store, because that's just what happens, you know what I mean? Especially if you're busy, people are handing you change and you don't have time to look at if it's actually an American penny or a freaking Canadian one, which they cannot use. They will not count a Canadian penny because it is not American currency, and it cannot go in your drawer countdown or count out. So that's 1 cent that you just lost. So see what I mean? Like, there's just things like that just happen, or you're so busy and then somebody hands you the wrong change, but they say it's the right change. I don't know. It's just like people can be like really like to cashiers and try to like trick them, and if you're not paying attention, like, you can end up in a really sticky situation as far as like giving somebody the right change and they thought that you gave them, like, they gave you a 20 but they really gave you a 10, and you just have to like pay attention. So in that regard, it still wasn't stressful considering what I had been doing previously, and like the color system was really easy. But there was like some arguments that just took place that you're just like, why, man? Like, why is this customer doing this to me? Like, I've got a line of people behind me, but they don't care because they're the only person in this store, according to their thought process. There are just arguments about like what's on sale. Is this like a girl shirt or is this a women's shirt? You know, they'd argue about the sizes. They would get mad about the way that things were tagged. They didn't understand the colors. The only person that I gave credence to not understanding colors was the colorblind guy that I trained on the register. He gets a pass for not understanding colors because he cannot see them. So that's why he gets a pass. But everybody else that is trying to go over on like the thrift store, which is a charity, by the way, like that's like rude. Like, you're rude. Stop being rude about like paying full price for something that's $1. If it's too much for you, then don't buy it. How about that? So that happened an awful lot. You know, honestly, like the managers were like mad chill about if your drawer was like off a little bit. They totally understand, especially if it was a super crazy sale day. And those like everybody hated, because basically like a lot of the people that shopped there during sale days where everything was like half off, like were animals and just completely destroyed the store. Just like ripped everything off and just threw it on the floor. And I don't understand how people can do that, because it's really rude. It's super rude to just like not pick something up that you like dropped on the floor because you can't be bothered. You know what I mean? Like, why? Just pick it up and put it back where you found it. It's really not that hard. It's super easy to put it back where it was or not drop it on the floor. But those were sale days, or always a freaking nightmare. I never sorted when I was there. I was strictly a cashier, or I would go and put the clothing out, and I never did any pricing. That was the manager's jobs. So like as far as like pricing, they look stuff that like looked like high quality up on eBay to see how much they could get and like mark it up accordingly, which some stuff they got like super good like prices on and people bought them, but some of the stuff I was like, there's no way no one is gonna pay that for that. I don't care what eBay says, that's not gonna happen.
Gentlemen, my name is Dr. Evil. In a little while you'll notice that the Kreplakistani warhead has gone missing. If you want it back, you're going to have to pay me $1 million. Sorry. $100 billion.
So I never got to do any pricing. The other thing that my thrift store had as far as a policy is like employees could not shop at that store, so we had to go to the one the next town over, which sucked. And like they were also like really strict on like you having your friends pick stuff up for you, so like you couldn't like hide stuff in the store and like tell your friend like which rack it was going to be on and tell them to go pick it out for you. I mean, I did that once, but like honestly, like I get it, because like you as an employee would get a discount and you would get choice off of like the choice goods. But if someone is willing to pay full price for it as an employee, then why wouldn't you just let them shop there? If someone's paying for it full price, then who cares? You know what I mean? Just say you're not gonna have your employee discount on it. That's what I would do. But I guess it would get a little complicated, which was unfortunate because our store that I worked at was a lot better than the one in the next town over. It just was bigger, had a lot more stock. There was more clothing and goods coming in. That was just a better selection, I guess. Going back to the people and how they treated the store, I just don't understand like why people feel like they have to like pee in the dressing rooms or like, you know, in dressing rooms. But that definitely happened, and I felt so bad for the donation guys, because they're the ones that had to do the janitorial work also. So if somebody like in the dressing room, like they would have to go clean it up. And like I don't understand, like there was a fully functioning bathroom, a guy's bathroom and a girl's bathroom, and they had 3 stalls. So like what's the problem? Like you couldn't make it? I don't ever think it was a I couldn't make it thing. I think it was like they're just nasty and they're going to in our dressing room and we're gonna have to deal with it. And like God, they always it was always like a huge pile of clothes in the dressing room that people just threw on the floor, and that's usually where you found it, which I just don't.
Why would you do that? Why would you do it? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it?
So yeah, the other thing was like I was never a sorter, so I never found anything like nasty in clothes because I didn't do the sorting. But I did, you had to, like, they would bring out racks of clothes and you would have to hang the clothes according to the color and how the colors were organized. And like that kind of sucked because the thrift store that I used to work at, just like any other one, does not wash their clothes. So if you think they're washed, they're not. Please wash the clothes that you get from the thrift store. I would say wash the clothes you get from any store because you don't know who tried them on. For real. But yeah, they don't wash them. So like sometimes when I was like hanging clothes and stuff, it felt like I was getting bit by stuff, which is really gross, and you just wouldn't see it, you know what I mean? But you would like end up with like bumps and stuff like on your arms, obviously, because that was one place where you were not allowed to wear shorts. You had to wear pants. And you couldn't wear tank tops either, and you couldn't have colored hair. You had to have normal hair. Like it felt like you were getting bit by stuff that was in the clothes, which is really like gross. It would like skeeve me out so bad because you couldn't see what the hell was biting you, which is the most unnerving thing in my opinion. If you don't know, but then you have like a bump or like a rash, and it's just because of where you work. And the other thing that I remember is like just like my allergies would go crazy at a certain time of year while working there, and I think it was because of all the lint like floating, and God knows what else was in those clothes floating around in the ventilation system, and then just getting like spewed back out onto you because you work there and you're doing like an 8-hour shift. So you would just not get sick, but just feel like kind of unwell. I don't know, I feel like my store it was different compared to the one that I shop at now frequently down here. Just I think it's like the people, like the customers that we had up there were like just pretty like rude and just didn't give a shit at all. So like they just didn't care, you know? Like example, like someone brought this like huge bag of rags. Like there were so many rags. It was like a garbage bag full of rags. And she was like, I'm gonna buy this, and we're like, okay. And then she got into an argument about like why it wasn't 50% off, and we're like, well, it's not the right color. And she's like, well, that looks like, you know, a Y, and it wasn't. And you know, and she's like, well, I'm not gonna buy it. So you know, she had several other things in her cart besides like the rags, the bag of rags that she like plopped on the counter, and she just left like the whole freaking cart like up at the register. You know what I mean? Like that's rude, you know? Just put it back, or at least push it to the side. Don't just like leave it there for us to deal with while we have other people in line. And I've never seen anybody like honestly lose their like that at the Goodwill that I shop at down here. And I'm there a lot. I think you guys know that if you watch this channel. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about as far as my experience working for a thrift store. So let me know if you guys have ever worked for a thrift store before, and if you have any stories about that, or if you've seen anybody like crazy loser in the thrift store that you were shopping at, because I just think that's funny. Like, look where you are, you know? Look at where you are. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on other social media. My links will be posted in the description box down below. Hit that notification bell so you guys know when I upload. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.